VA needs additional planning in this really important program that helps and protects veterans who are applying for disability benefits.
Hi, and welcome to GAO's Watchdog Report, your source for fact-based, nonpartisan news and information from the U.S. Government Accountability Office. I'm your host, Holly Hobbs. The Department of Veterans Affairs processed about 2 million disability benefits claims in fiscal year 2023. Navigating the claims process can be difficult, and veterans may use representatives who are accredited by the VA to help them. But how does the VA oversee the quality of these services and protect veterans against potential scammers? We'll find out from GAO's Elizabeth Curda, who has a new report out today on this topic. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So maybe we can start with, what is the role of these representatives? How do they help veterans?
Well, I think the first thing you have to understand is that applying for disability benefits from the VA is a very complex undertaking. And so the role that a representative can play is essentially they act on the behalf of the veteran when they're applying for benefits and help them navigate the process. For example, they can help fill out the paperwork, they can track down medical files, and they can check in with the VA on the status of the claim throughout the process, which can take many months.
These are not VA employees, right?
Correct. They are private individuals. They can be employees of a veteran service organization, and these are organizations like the American Legion or the Veterans of Foreign Wars. They can be attorneys. They can be paralegals or financial planners or just people who advocate for veterans on their own.
And how is the VA accrediting or vetting, to use a pun, how are they vetting these people to know that they're going to do a good job?
Well, they take a risk-based approach depending on the type of representative involved. So if the representative is from a veteran service organization, that organization essentially does the background checks, the training, and they vouch for their representatives, and they make sure that they're up to date on their training and so forth. If you're an attorney, the basic requirement is that you have to be in good standing with your state bar association. And then for all the other types of representative, which VA has a different name for, they call them claims agents. VA will conduct a background check and follow up on any red flags that they see. And if they pass that screening, they are then required to take a written exam.
So that kind of is like stuff before you start the job, the background check to make sure you have all the credentials you need. What happens when they're on the job? How is VA overseeing the quality of service?
VSOs are supposed to periodically recertify that their employees are in good standing. So, that they've taken the training and still their backgrounds are still okay. And VA does track this. They can suspend an accreditation if a representative doesn't keep up with their training. VA also plays a role in investigating and responding to any complaints about a representative.
So what happens if there's a complaint?
It depends. For an accredited representative, VA will investigate the complaint, see if it holds any water, and they can revoke the accreditation if they didn't follow the rules. There's another case, though, where they may get a complaint about someone who has been representing a veteran who is not accredited. And these individuals, they could be advertising that they can work the system and get faster results than an accredited representative will. An unaccredited representative might try to offer that for a fee or offer a lot of services the veteran doesn't need, sort of packaged in with that application process. And VA does not have authority to punish the unaccredited reps who break the rules. They are limited to sending a cease and desist letter, or they might refer those complaints to state or federal law enforcement.
If you're a veteran applying for disability benefits and you're working with one of these representatives, what's like a red flag that would tell you maybe this person isn't accredited or maybe this is a scam?
Well, first of all, if they ask for a fee to file your initial disability claim, that is illegal. If they think of other things to charge you for, like financial advice or steering you to doctors, kind of other things that aren't the filing of the claim, I mean, I'll give you an example. People reach out to me from time to time because of my background in disability benefits and said that their loved one was going to be applying for disability benefits, and they had been working with this individual who was going to charge them $500 to file the initial disability claim. And I had to say, that's a red flag. They are not allowed to charge to file an initial disability claim. If your claim is denied and you appeal, an attorney can charge a fee for that appeal process, which can be lengthy and result in awards. But the initial disability claim is free.
So the VA told us about some challenges they have with overseeing their program of representatives. What did they tell us?
Well, besides dealing with these unaccredited folks, the main issues are they're a very small staff, and so they have many responsibilities to keep up with. And so when they sort of focus on one thing, there's a backlog of applications to be accredited. So they're working on the backlog. Then maybe they don't have time to do the checking on the recertifications or the training requirements. So they have a hard time dealing with all of their responsibilities. The other issue is their IT is outdated, and this somewhat contributes to the issue with resources. They spend a lot of time doing manual data entry, which takes away from time they have to do the kind of mission critical things that they're supposed to be doing.
So Elizabeth just told us that representatives play a key role in helping veterans navigate the claims process for disability benefits, but that the VA faces some challenges when overseeing the quality of these services. Elizabeth, what more do we think the VA needs to do to oversee this program and protect veterans?
Well, VA has a good understanding of the challenges that they face, and they have ideas about ways to address those challenges. For example, a study of their staff resources that they need, updating their IT systems. They want to update their rules to increase those training requirements. But what we found they're struggling with is planning and implementing the initiatives. And this is, frankly, a common problem we find at the VA with new initiatives. Their implementation plans that we reviewed don't follow leading practices for project management. We found that VA hasn't, for example, assessed the risks that could affect their plans. They don't fully identify the resources they need to complete these improvements. And they don't have timeframes for when the initiatives would be completed. And there's no indication of how they would monitor progress on these plans. So we recommended that they fully apply leading planning practices to all of these initiatives to improve the probability that these plans will succeed.
And last question, what's the bottom line of this report?
Well, VA is taking steps to address the challenges in this really important program that helps and protects veterans who are applying for disability benefits. However, VA needs additional planning to help make these efforts successful.
That was GAO's Elizabeth Curda talking about our new report on VA benefits. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for listening to the Watchdog Report. To hear more podcasts, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And make sure to leave a rating and review to let others know about the work we're doing. For more from the Congressional Watchdog, the U.S. Government Accountability Office, visit us at gao.gov.